think the issue that we have on hand right now, before we even start shooting for today, it was supposed to be you and me, Saiful, about just purely Arsenal. But hey, in a true fashion, Mourinho style, he grabbed the headline today. So Faisal has his own say about all this chop and changing in terms of managerial position. It's a bit of a merry-go-round right now, especially in London. So before we just proceed with again, I won't say a debate lah, more of a cordial discussion. Let me start with Saiful first. Saiful, upon hearing the news today, what was your first impression and thought about this whole saga or debacle down the road, down the sisters lane?
When I woke up, I saw Pochettino getting sacked, getting the can. And I thought it was good news for the day, But hours after that, a colleague of mine just showed, hey, Jose might be taking over. For real? Yeah, for real. Come on, he probably won't take the job. I mean, he's got something against Spurs. Then few hours later, he really ended up taking up the job. So I don't really know what to feel. Undeniable, he can produce results. And Spurs really you have to admit, they have a bunch of good players out there. I think they can turn their season around and then
And for you, Faisal, when you first learned the news, I know because you were one of the first few guys who actually texted me via Instagram with all the latest updates when it comes to news. You're a bit of a newsletter for me. So share with me your thoughts, man. Like, what do you make of, again, this whole... it seems like they are playing musical chair over there in Spurs, where Pochettino leaves the seat and Mourinho, actually sat on it spot on. What do you make of it?
I think that, to be honest with you, the writings was really on the walls now. So right after the Champions League final in Madrid back in June, we knew that something wasn't going right. Okay, so in fact, he openly said in one of his interviews with the media that he had a hard time and he was in self-confinement, or rather house arrest for 10 days actually. He didn't even leave the home. He didn't even want to be with anyone. And the family even spotted that. And then things just went from bad to worse lah. Yeah. So I'm not sure where and how it exactly went wrong. But this is my personal opinion. All right. So the moment he dropped Lucas Moura and bring in Harry Kane, who wasn't fully match fit to start in the final itself, I think he had really lost the dressing room. He had really lost the confidence of the players. And he just went, as I've said earlier, he just went from bad to worse. And looking at where Spurs is right now, I think it is something which is not justifiable. So if you look at the names on the list, and whoever starts on his first 11, we know who are the great players, who are the players who can deliver. All right. So when you don't have when you can't have control of the dressing room, I think that's the end of you as a coach or as a manager.
So, and also for yourself, right, Saiful, again, I'm going to say my piece and then I'll push the mic over to you.
All right.
For me, like, I think me and Faisal, we had a lengthy discussion about Mourinho. So Mourinho himself, is a piece. It's an article by himself. And you know my stance about Mourinho, how much I really go fanboy mode when it comes to Mourinho. Not because of again, he's a bit of I would say he's not a protagonist, but more of an antagonist in football. But isn't Mourinho is the type of character that Arsenal need right now for us to actually rise up from the ashes? Because kid you not, in terms of our squad, we've got a shiny up front. We've got a balanced center in the middle of the park. I think we are quite shiny. At the back is well documented. Everybody knew that we are kind of crime watch at the back. but then again, isn't job is actually to fix defenses. What say you, my man?
Before I get into that, I'll just focus on what Faisal said about losing control in the dressing room. That issue is more outstanding right now. We can see Unai really lost the control in the dressing room with the Xhaka saga, and currently Aubameyang is not allowed to talk to the fans and all that. But it is a different topic altogether. Now back to Mourinho, he definitely can control the dressing room. He can keep the egos of the players in check. Uh, in terms of defense, we all know he's a park the bus style kind of coach. He will really sort the defense out. I believe he will. I believe he can and he will if he goes to Arsenal. But in terms of his character, he's not really a likable guy. If he were to go to Arsenal, we will have again another divided fan base. Uh, but he can produce results. That's a definite green light lah. That's the green light which will make the board go for him. And the thing about Mourinho is, you've seen him manage Chelsea, Madrid, and all that. The players, if he were to bench certain players, the players are condemned to the bench for life until the end of their career. So that's one thing I don't really like about him.
Okay, fair. For you, right, Faisal, I know you are really headstrong against Mourinho. Okay, I don't really agree. Neither do I actually comprehend why such hatred is being mounted against Mourinho. But if you can actually, you actually did explain to me he would actually leave clubs in tatters. He would actually ruin the club. The last time I checked, when he left Chelsea, for the first time when he actually got himself the job and landed the title after 50 years of barren spell, he got the job done in Chelsea. And when he left, what he did was he left a marker in terms of just the Chelsea footballing legacy. After that, they were hungry and thirsty for more titles because they know how it tasted like, and they duly got it again with Roberto Di Matteo with Champions League, Ancelotti with the Premier League. The second time of asking, he came back, he got the title again, once again, just like Mourinho. And then when he got sacked right after, it was Antonio Conte, and we all know, won his Premiership title, in his maiden year. So what is this about Mourinho that he leaves the club, again in tatters, and he's a bit of an arsonist who actually just set up an inferno. Once it's down to ashes, he will leave the club.
All right, let's look at his last appointment at Manchester United. All right, just look at the number of players that he brought in. All right, those are the players that he sold when he was with Chelsea, and then he buys them over at like what 5-10 times the amount that he had to pay. So that in itself speaks volume of what sort of a person he is. I have no. The thing that's good about Mourinho is he's a winner, right? So I hate his negative style of football, right? But does it really matters to fans? For any particular fan out there, or any specific fans out there. So if we look at his records, he's a winner in every club that he manages, right? From Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Chelsea, and Manchester United. He has a proven record that he will win you trophies, right? But at what expense? So is the club willing to break the bank? And I know that Arsenal is one club that will not break the ceiling of the transfer fees and even on the wages of the players.
Okay.
But things has changed. Right? Things has changed over the years, and then Arsenal is a different team right now. So hang on a sec.
No problem.
Okay, so Arsenal is a different team altogether this time around. With money bank coming in, right? Of course there are expectations. Okay, so the question right now that we have is not this is my personal take. So we don't know for sure whether Unai is the correct choice, right? But then again, he has got a contract, right? So will the owner honor the contract of the manager that he appointed?
Good point. So now we touch on just again the point that Faisal left us with in terms of contract, right, Saiful? Honoring contract. So I think it's now again, it's not the world's biggest mystery that many of the managers out there, even if they are winning managers, they don't usually see out their contract. Arsene Wenger and also Alex Ferguson, they were a thing of the past. They were a specimen. You might actually find them in the museum right now. That's how old it is right now. But we talk about just whether Unai Emery himself is good enough to see out the contract. We all know that the result and the stats is really compelling against him, especially when you put it against Arsene Wenger's last season, which was supposed to be his worst season ever. And yet, some of a certain segment of Arsenal fans, they are preaching patience. What do you have to say about this?
It's down to the goodwill of the fans. I think Unai has used it all of it up. The goodwill of the fans. We give him chances. Okay? Uh, the good thing is we are not losing games. That's fine by me. But the bad thing is we are also not winning games. We are racking up the draws. I think I mentioned this before to you. We are not winning. We are not losing. We are not getting points. But he's got the players that he wants. He wants the players. Raul suddenly forked out. Don Raul did his stuff, and he got the wings, forwards, the center mid. I don't know what the issue is with him right now. But regarding him sitting out his contract, I believe if he does not play for the next 2 5 games, he will also get the chopping block. But he will try to actually scout managers before that. I think that's what Levy did. I mean, Levy is a business, right? He's a businessman. He will have. I think this he would have probably approached Mourinho way before this episode happened. So if the board decides like 9, I believe they should be towards that to replace him.
Yeah, great stuff. Look, I'm ultimately frustrated with the fact that we are almost immovable in terms of the projection of ambition from Arsenal's squad. It seems that we are going nowhere, and I think what kills me the most is we know for sure we have let two ships pass by us. The first one was, of course, Pep. We all know that, or rather, we all knew that Pep actually, kind of sing, or he was waxing lyricals about Arsenal. There was a bit of intent. Okay, that passed by because we didn't want to move. We wanted to stick with Wenger. And then came another boat, which is the Klopp's boat. And is also again well documented. He was banging Arsenal's drum really, really hard. He mentioned he loved the structure of Arsenal. It would be a dream to manage Arsenal. But then again, because we thought that sticking with Wenger was again a good price tag to pay for all the years that he actually invested in us, we let the boat pass by again. And now we all knew that we are in a dire situation when it comes to just character and in terms of just our playing identity. Mourinho was on hand. He was available. Everybody knew about it. He made again his intention known. He wants to settle down in London. And again, we let him pass by us. So Faisal, in this case, all right, where a club of Arsenal stature, we have not been performing up to task for many, many years. Again, right now we as Arsenal fans, we are lowering down our expectation season in, season out. It's right now come to a point whereby we are used to watching Arsenal in Europa League. But then again, having said that, we also don't want that to be the normal going rate. It shouldn't be a norm because we are the Arsenal. So where do we then draw the line when it comes to patience?
Well, I've been supporting Liverpool for the longest time. So we have not won the championship for 30 years now. So if you talk about patience, I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to talk about patience. But what I do know is Liverpool has taught me a valuable lesson, and that is to manage my own expectations. I'm not talking about any other fans out there, right? So I've been managing my own expectations for the last 30 years. So ever since the EPL, or rather the Premier League was introduced, we have not won anything, but we have came close on a number of occasions. And the most recent was just last season. 97 points and still finishing up as runners-up. It's unacceptable, right? But what can we do? You just have to stick with whatever the team that the manager has put up, right? And you just have to support your team through thick and thin, whether you like it or not. So it's not the manager that makes, I wouldn't say that it's not the manager that makes a difference, all right? They do to a certain extent, but he too needs the support of the fans. So if the fans are not supportive of his work, then what to do? So in Unai Emery's case, uh, was he given the opportunity to really bring in his team, to assemble his full squad? So let's make reference to Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, 4 years right now. So if we look at the number of players that he has brought in and the number of players that he has shipped out, this is his team that we are looking at right now. And this team, the team that he has assembled, right, is actually playing his style of football. So are the players, are the current crop of players at Arsenal fully are they the team that Unai brought in all by himself, or the board has got a say in it?
Okay, good point. I think, Saiful, we know for sure that with Unai, one of the key factor of him getting the job was because he fully agreed with this whole structure of having a technical director who would actually dictate transfer. Mhm. We are not saying that he does not have a hand or say in the transfer dealing. He would actually shortlist players. But then again, at the end of the day, is based on the discretion of the club in terms of valuation and in terms of just the feasibility of the transfer. Faisal actually posed a really good question. Is this Unai's team? I will answer it first and then on to you. I think at this current moment, 3/4 of the squad is pretty much drawn up by Unai already. You
Yes.
look at the back line, Leno was bought by him, Tierney was bought by him, Socrates was bought by him, David Luiz was bought by him, Dennis
David,
Ceballos was bought by him, Matthew Ganduzi was bought from him, and Nikos Pepe was bought by him. So
yes.
you are looking at more than half a squad, and yet the gripe I have is we still don't have an established pattern. Difference with Klopp, even though he took the team, in mid-season, towards the end, you could see there is an established pattern of play. With Unai, you will never get consistency. One moment he's trying 3-5-2, another moment he's trying 4-3, and another moment he's playing 10-0. Everybody behind the goal. So how does it inspire confidence for us Arsenal fans, knowing that the next Unai team is the biggest mystery on earth that nobody can ever solve? You might have a better chance hitting Toto with an additional number than actually guessing Unai's next team. What say you?
All right, before Saiful can answer that, let me chip in a little bit more lah. So first and foremost, who are the leaders on the pitch in Arsenal? Who? I don't see it. I'm sorry to say this. I don't see anyone. Gone were the days whereby you have Emmanuel Petit, right? You have Patrick Vieira. You have who else?
Tony Adams.
Thierry Henry, Tony Adams, Sol Campbell at the back, Lee Dixon. These are all natural born leaders, right? I'm sorry to say, but I don't see any capable leaders on the pitch when Arsenal takes onto the field to play with anyone.
No, mate, you don't have to be sorry for us because I think just sorry is an overused word. All right. And in terms of just before we move to you, right? Just on Faizal's point about captaincy. Look, you yourself as a neutral know that we need a leader, and we really need it quick, badly. And what did our manager do? He went on a democratic system where
Voting system.
everybody vote for their captain. Now you tell me if that's a mark, of a true manager who has the balls and the steel and the metal to say no, I'm appointing you because I feel that you have the leadership quality. But no, instead of doing so, he decides to go like what we would do under our void deck. You be the captain, you choose your players, and let's start playing 5-a-side.
I guess that was what Saiful said earlier when we started off this session. So Unai would have really lost the dressing room. So when you can't even appoint, or when you can't even appoint your own captain, what's there to say about you as a manager?
So that's why, Saiful, right now, with all that has been said about Unai, again, this whole motion has been triggered by the move of Mourinho to Spurs. It really sets the precedence in terms of what Spurs has already achieved to have actually landed themselves one of the biggest project in Mourinho I really feel hard done. I'm sour about it. I put my hands up. I'm really sour about it. You know, but what's next for Arsenal, Saiful? What's next? Please enlighten me.
What's next? I would really love. Okay, for myself, this is just I'm speaking for myself. Yeah, I don't know about there are other Arsenal fans out there, but this is just what I wish to see. I've always wanted an Arsenal legend to be on the helm, to be leading, to be managing the team. My personal favorite would be, of course, if not Freddie, Ljungberg. We had Holt as a defensive coach. I don't know what happened to him. He just suddenly disappeared when Unai came in. You have any idea what happened to him?
He was being demoted to the under 21 because Unai felt that he was getting in his ways. Apparently, Unai knows better defensively.
Wow. Okay. Not from the results though. All right. So okay, moving back to the topic. If Unai gets the sack, I would really love to see Mikel taking charge. He's been learning under Pep for a few seasons now. I believe he has what it takes. Kids of the La Masia, they have it on the pitch, on and off the pitch. They have it. They have what it takes to control the Arsenal team. And besides, I shared with you this. Mikel is you can see him holding the captaincy, on his final 2 seasons in Arsenal, and we did pretty well. We actually won FA Cups under him. If he were to rejoin back Arsenal, I think he can command back the dressing room. We definitely have egoistic players. I have to admit that in the likes of Aubameyang. I believe Aubameyang has a very very big ego, and I would like to think in the dressing room, players listen to him more than the manager. So it is wise for Unai to give him the captaincy right now, but on the pitch itself, Aubameyang looks really lost. I don't think he should be the captain's man. Yeah, that's it. What I have to say.
Good. Touching on your point about rehiring legends
Mm-hmm.
as part of the dressing room, I think Faisal would have a lot of experience. They appointed King Kenny.
No,
You know,
yes.
the first time of asking, it came to full effect. The second, but the thing is, I find it again, it's a touchy and it's quite irky for me to actually talk about that proposal itself, rehiring, because right now in this cruel world, the end conclusion for managers is usually a sack. So
They,
we threw a couple of names, all right, into the mix. We spoke about Patrick Vieira, we spoke about Thierry Henry. Now he's gone to Montreal. I'm wishing him all the best. We talked about Freddie Ljungberg. We talked about Mikel Arteta. Faisal, talking about X crop of players being at top of the. What do you think? And based on your experience, is that something that Arsenal should actually, probably touch on?
Uh, well, when Kenny Dalglish was appointed to take over Roy Hodgson some years ago, the owners were actually pressured by the fans. So I will not go that route. All right, if I'm in charge of a club, if I own any clubs out there, I will not be engaging my ex-players or legends to lead my team, because it's going to ruin their image. All right. So if we look at the Premier League right now, all right, we have Eddie Howe. He's very young, capable, very bright, talented manager. All right. You just need to look within the Premier League, and there are potentials out there who can actually take on the Arsenal job. All right. There has been talks about, or rather, talks amongst the fans and friends, saying that Rafa Benitez would be an ideal candidate. Right. Um, yes, I would agree to a certain extent. Rafa will stabilize the ship, but then again, he too would need to spend tons of money. Right? Is Arsenal willing to spend? That's the question now. Is Arsenal willing to spend £300 million on 2 transfer windows? Will the owner really sign, or rather open up his checkbook and give it to any managers out there, say, okay, this is a blank check, go and buy whatever players you want? Will that ever happen?
can I chime
Right.
in?
So if we were to look at the numbers, we were to track back a couple of years ago. I'm looking at about 15, maybe 20 years ago. Just look at Leeds United. What happened? David O'Leary was a very good manager. All right, but they overspent. So we do not wish to see any clubs who are currently in the Premier League going down and not coming back up. So Newcastle did that. Rafa Benitez did that with Newcastle. They went down to the lower division but came up immediately the following season on limited budget. But the moment he got back, the moment Rafa brought back Newcastle into top flight football, he presses for the funds. He doesn't get it from Ashley, and off he goes. So I don't think getting a manager of that caliber in that bracket is going to help Arsenal. I'm being very honest with you. Again, this is just my opinion, and I know that my opinion doesn't really matter.
No, man, no. It does.
It's good to hear from
It does. But when expenditure, right? What the media has done successfully is actually put a wool onto our eyes. Because, kid you not, Arsenal are actually one of the biggest spenders in the market. So with all these talks about Arsenal not spending, Arsenal are penny pinching. We are really again quite a miser when it comes to wage structure. The financial result will show you otherwise. So whether or not the board is willing to spend, I think this season alone, the board has spent and they spend well, in my honest opinion. Again, but then again, we are again down tooling. We are giving the wrong tool to the wrong person. You are probably giving a ladle, all right, to a mechanic. He won't fix no car with a ladle. What do you say of that, Saiful? Our spending habits and whether again we are offering the right resources to the right man.
We have the resources. We did offer to a person. I don't know if he's the right man, but we just focus on Faisal's point a bit about expenditure. The only reason why we got to spend this season is because of Don Raul and Unai. Is their connection. Probably their friends. That's why they got to spend a lot this season. And if you could go up a bit, touch on Stan as Josh Conte. He's finally attending games. I think he's finally seeing the need to spend. This season, you can see the board getting engaged in the club activities and all that. So back to our point, we did spend, but somehow the results are not showing. I don't know what's wrong. Are the lower teams climbing up? Are they getting better, or are we flopping up? That question has been bugging me for a few weeks, right? Sheffield United is climbing up, so is Wolves, even Leicester. But we have good players, but we are not producing results. No idea why. Are we not good enough? Or is the manager not good enough? I have my doubts about Unai, but to give him the chopping board, I want to see him go and see what a new manager can do to the club. But at the same time, I have this dilemma where I don't want to end up like other clubs. For example, Chelsea, they keep changing managers, so it's a very unstable system. You don't have a fixed strategy. When imagine you are at a workplace and you keep changing bosses, so you have different expectations from every boss. You get confused, and with different managers, they have different styles of play. You will definitely be played out of position. We see that with Maitland. Uh, he's always complaining about not being able to play in central mid at his natural position. But when Unai gave him that opportunity to play in central mid against Victoria, you saw how he flopped. He really screwed that game up for him. So if you were to say Unai doesn't give the players a chance, he did give, but the players are not performing. So it's a real dilemma, right?
Okay. So here's the question that I have. What's your definition of success? All right. So if from a fan perspective is one, all right. If you are managing a club, what's your take on it? And if you are the owner of the club, what is your definition of success?
Wow. As an owner, if I was a business-minded owner, like Levy, or even the Glazers, the trophy at the end of the season will definitely be a success for me. But as a coach like Jose, who who's hungry for silverware, then trophies would be my benchmark. Personally, if I was a manager, trophies would be a benchmark. But as Arsenal fans, on the whole, we are used to lowering down our expectation every damn season. From winning the title, second place can, third place can, fourth spot for every season. You just fourth spot. It's normal. It's normal. But if you're fourth position again, it's normal. As long as you finish above. Now even we lost that last season.
Yeah.
So
And let me just touch on expectation, right? Just on Faisal's point. Look, the thing is, what we have to remember, like for me and Saiful, or in our lifetime, we only knew of one manager in Arsenal, and that was Wenger. And when we were being introduced, just again a short backstory, I started supporting Arsenal rather in 1997, and that was again that 1 year after Wenger came in. And from that moment on, there was nothing but just pure success, glory, beautiful football, proactive board, and a good management of the whole economic structure of Arsenal. And then we move, in hopes that we will challenge again in our CEO, ex-CEO Ivan Gazidis, in his own good word. The reason why we move is so that we can rub shoulders against the European giants and Bayern, the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Real Madrid. Little did we know rubbing shoulder means getting whacked 10-2 year in, year out by Bayern Munich, getting humiliated by Barcelona. We didn't know that was coming, because if we had known that all this was going to come our way, we might as well got stuck with Highbury, because Highbury was bringing us a lot of success, and that's the reason why Liverpool has never thought of actually opening up a brand new project when it comes to the stadium. Rather than doing that, they actually just progressively add on, a certain section, but then it still remains as Anfield. So the move was really, again, the major killer for Arsenal, I believe. And if you ask me about expectation, look, Faisal, I've grown up looking at Arsenal hauling trophies after trophies. Now to tell me that you've been feeding me fish and chips and steaks, and now suddenly you tell me that, hey, porridge is the best food, I'm gonna say you are lying, man. You are definitely lying, because I know in the fridge you got some frozen steak that in the fridge itself, but you are not gonna fry it, because why? You want to keep it for later on. But the later on will never ever come, and that's the dilemma for us Arsenal fans, because we know that we have the money, we have the resources, but why are we not again pushing up the table? And what a shame it is for Arsenal right now to be a club of our magnitude, but we are languishing right on fifth spot. We have Sheffield on top of us. We have Leicester on top of us. Is that really something that we have to really bear patience with? Because my patience is limited. My patience has all been invested in Wenger. Because if you remember correctly, we went on a barren spell for 10 years. Yes, you may come up with your 30 years rhetoric, but like I mentioned, that's your patience. You have it. Kudos to you. But for us, we have never known a drought. But then when we were being introduced to a drought, we actually cling on. We hang on to Arsene Wenger and his project. We kept telling ourselves maybe next season will be the season that Wenger would finally again revive Arsenal. Sadly, did not happen, and now we've got Unai the Joker.
Well, what I can say is Arsene Wenger has set the benchmark for whoever that steps in. So if we look at, so when you are so used to success, and then all of a sudden the success doesn't come to you, you guys starts to panic, right? So panic, yes, but you all are not running like headless chickens for now, right? It has yet to come. So I don't want to speak so much about other Liverpool fans, all right? But I wish to speak about myself, all right? When Roy Hodgson came in, all right, I did not panic, because I knew that there is someone who's going to come in, all right, and save the club. Even if it means that we got relegated, I'm still going to be there with the club, because at the end of the day, it is the crest that I support, right? It is not the manager, right? Yes, the manager do get my support, all right, from far, all right, but at the end of the day, it's the crest on the chest. That's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. And just before we actually close up, I think we're about to hit 40 minutes. I think that's good enough content. Really glad that you both got on board. Sorry for that little hiccup that we had previous time, earlier on getting both of you. But I'm just gonna pose one question for each of you. Okay. Again, I'm gonna start with Saiful. So right now, seeing that our neighbors has already made that dreaded move, getting Mourinho, and if we don't change, does it then spell panic and danger for us?
If we don't change, panic for us. Nah, I don't think so. Like I said earlier, we are not winning games, we are not losing games as well. We still haven't totally lost it yet. On some, you see, on some days we can play very attacking football. On some days we can play really shitty football. Good case was Leicester's first half. We were really pushing them through. And then second half, we just collapsed. So there's no reason, like Faisal said, there's no reason to panic yet. But about the neighbors next door, them getting Mourinho, is a good case of seeing whether Mourinho can turn their season around. Like, it'd be nice to see them fail, to be honest, but as an Arsenal fan. But to see if they manage to turn their season around, that would be a sight to behold. But then again, I would touch on what Faisal said way early during the session. Mourinho has a tendency to leave a club in tatters. So if and when Mourinho leaves Spurs, we will definitely see a post United, post Manchester United without Mourinho. It's in threats right now. They are in a rut.
Okay. No, great point. Just Faisal, before we close up, right now that we have seen, again, like I mentioned earlier on, it's a bit of a musical chair down in North London. Who do you think right now, in your own opinion, is leading the sack race? And Unai Emery, tell me Unai Emery is part of the race.
I would want Unai to stay for the rest of the season. I'm being very
Oh
honest with you
man,
guys.
you're
Right?
having a laugh, man.
Yeah. So I hope, I know he can turn things around. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so as for your London neighbours, they are fortunate in the sense that they got Mourinho. So you guys have to bear this in mind. So when Spurs sacked Pochettino, they had to pay him 12 million. So expect them to pay Jose Mourinho 20 million if he gets the sack. Right? So that in itself is something which is not nice. So you bring in someone new. So Mourinho is going to bring his own team. Okay, that's going to add on to the expenses, and then expect Mourinho to spend at least, I don't know. This is just some numbers that came into my head. So I'm looking at something around in the region of 100 to 180 million pounds this January, plus another 100 to 120 million pounds during the summer. So you add those figures up, that's about 300 million. So the question that we have right now, is Spurs willing to spend 300 million just for Jose Mourinho to revamp his team? And when that day comes and he doesn't get the funds, what's going to happen to the club that he's leading? Is he going to stamp his feet like a baby and cry, whining in the media during his press conference and everything? Will he do it? We don't know. But the records are out there for us to see. We know that he's a talented manager. He can bring Spurs up 1 or 2 notch, right? But I have faith in Unai. Right? I have faith in Unai. I know he can turn things around. I'm saying it again, right? Maybe not Champions League material for this season, maybe, but I could be proven wrong, all right? Because it's anybody's race right now. It is still open, okay? So even the title is not sealed in November. So we got to wait until April or in May, because there was an article that came out not long ago saying that Manchester City is at its meanest form when it comes to April and May. So we just hope that.
And just for banter's sake, right, Faisal, we know the last time Mourinho was the biggest villain in every Liverpool's fan, nightmare. He was living rent free in your head
Mhm.
because of what
Mhm.
he did at Anfield.
Mhm.
Now, hypothesis, in a cruel twist of event and fate,
Mhm.
he does it again, and this time again, because of the game against Mourinho, he derails your title hope, and then again, surrendering it to Man City. Is Mourinho the man for you?
Uh, I would rather not answer that lah. So let's raise this topic again in May, all right, on the last week of the title race, and then let's revisit this again.
Hey, man, thank you so much, man, for joining me. I really hope that we can do this on a regular basis. We could probably, again, switch up in terms of the guests. But I really appreciate you both coming up, sharing your thoughts and opinion about it. Let's see what we can garner out of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it because I certainly did. But until then, man, Napshot Studio, thank you so much. Peace.
All right,
Peace.
see you guys again.